Hi guys, this is Wireheadking and welcome to part 2 of my grass creation tutorial. In part 1 we made this. This actually turned out better than I thought it would, and that gives a good start to part 2 where we'll be creating 2 more particle systems. One to get the sort of longer, more broken up grass, and the next one to make these sort of like flowers, because grass is never really usually two just bits of grass. You just got some small flowers in it. Okay, so if we just come out of that render now, yeah, we're going to get on with the second particle system. So we're going to add a new one, and we're going to call this long grass, and the same here. And if I just go to the modifiers here, if I just name this here long grass, I'm just going to hide the grass we've made just now, and I'm also going to stop it from being rendered again just for now, while I start creating the longer grass. Okay, so with this we're going to set this to hair again, and actually kind of want to bring back that old grass here just so I can get the length of, if I just change the display. Oh wait, it's set to 10. Oh good. Right, so if I get the long grass and tick advanced and go to the velocity, I think we set this to about 0.07. Okay, so that's coming out about the same size. So if we just set this to 0.1, yeah, there we go. We're just getting slightly longer bits of grass like that. Again, like with the other grass in part 1, we sort of going following sort of grid lines. If we just go from emission and change this to random, that solves that problem. And yeah, so if we just go back and hide the original grass, and if we also make a new material for this, so yeah, basically in the materials we're going to duplicate this grass texture, tick this 2 to separate it from the grass texture. I'm going to call this long grass, and this is going to be set to a sort of yellowy kind of mix between yellow and green, somewhere around there, like that. And in the render we're going to set this to material 3. Okay, so now we can get editing. So the number, if we leave that 1000, that's actually quite good. Velocity, I've already set that. Oh, we might want to give it kind of a drift with the wind, so we just tap that X forwards a bit, or even backwards a bit, whatever. Just, you know, play around with these settings here to get the, you know, the further you make that, the stronger the wind will look. And, you know, so yeah, let's just leave that at a 0.01 on the X. That's looking fine. Under render again, we're going to want to click strand render and B-spline. Physics, let's just give it 1, maybe 2 actually on the Brownian. And with children, again, we're going to make this simple, but it's going to be 5 and 5, because this grass is just going to be breaking up into a few bits and pieces. That's it. Clump is going to be set to -1, so it's basically joined up at the bottom, and the shape is going to be minus 0.999 there, and the radius we're going to decrease that a bit, like that. Might even just increase the shape just a bit to get some separation of that, and then yeah, in fact I don't like separating that shape, let's just leave it at that. And the radius can come down to 0.05, like that. Okay, so now I've got some alright looking grass like that. I'm just going to go into the texture here. We're going to want to click on the 2 here as well to make sure that's separate. This is going to be long grass cull, like that. And also it seems I forgot to name it in this. It's just going to be called grass, like that. Okay. So basically I'm going to just bring back that green a bit and sort of keep these evenly spread out like that. I'm just going to give this a quick test render. Okay, that's looking alright. No problems really with that. So yeah, that's the first particle system done. I'm not going to render it with the rest of the grass, that's just going to waste time. You know, that grass is done, so rendering them both at the same, it's going to really make no difference. Okay, so now I'm going to bring that back to the render thing, and I'm going to hide this. If we go to the second layer now, we're going to create a very low poly flower. So I'm going to add a circle, give it 4 vertices like that, so we're sort of creating a diamond shape. Maybe best if I added a cylinder, but oh well. I'm going to extrude this up like that, scale it down, I'm going to scale it down there as well. If I press smooth like that, then I'm going to press, oh yeah, you can see here we've got these sort of funny things happening here. If I press Control N in edit mode with everything selected, that would just fix that problem like that, and then bring that up. Okay, at the top I'm just going to press E, and then press Alt M, choose at center, bring that up a bit, and it looks like that monument in Washington, so you know, that's sort of the shape we're aiming for there. And I'm basically going to get okay, yeah, I'm just going to get these vertices here, extrude them out like this, and yep, there we go, somewhere around there. But flowers usually have more than just 4 petals, so I'm gonna actually, if I go down here and set the pivot point to the 3D cursor, because that's in the center, make sure it is in the center, by the way. If we now duplicate this, we can then rotate it like that, and let's actually just yeah, maybe just select maybe another petal, because they're all different lengths, so you know, we just can add a bit of variation to it, and maybe just one of this petal here. There we go, that looks terrible, but it will do. Now if I just, yeah, I'm gonna bring out these detached petals, I guess that's what they're called. I'm gonna set the pivot point back to the median and just scale them up. That's not really helped the problem. Oh well, yeah, let's just leave it at that then. Let's scale it back down and just bring them down. There we go. Okay, so that's looking a bit better. Maybe bring them a bit up. Okay, so now we need to give these materials. So if we just get all these petals selected, we can then give these a color. So this is going to be the petal color, and then we're going to add take a sign on that, even though it's already assigned. We're going to add another material. This is going to be stem, and another one, and that's going to be the yellow pollen. I think that's what it's called scientifically, is the pollen. Okay, so I'm just going to get the pollen bit there and take a sign, and then I'm going to get the stem and then take a sign on that. Then we can come out of edit mode and just give these colors. So the stem is obviously going to be green, sort of a darker green than that. Also, let's remove specularity, because the specularity is just going to be stretched up these vertices and it will look nasty. So we're not going to have any specularity. The pollen is not going to have any specularity either, and it's just going to be this yellow thing. Maybe if make it sort of like an orange color, looks a bit better. Make it nice and bright. And then with the petals, specularity, you know, let's have some specularity. Let's make it very hard, so 150. In fact, no, that's not any specularity. Increase the intensity to 1, just to make things look a bit brighter. Make that white, and in the shading, let's just give that a big translucency of 0.9. Okay, so now we've got that. Let's just rotate the top of the flower like that, because flowers tend to be rotated at the top, seeing as, you know, these are aiming for the sun, and if the sun is at some funny angle, then, you know, because, you know, plants grow towards the sun. Yeah, so basically that's why. And now if I duplicate this, I can then separate this petal and call this petal 2 and make this a nice sunflower colour, aka yellow, and then duplicate it again, petal 3. You can go on forever really. I'm going to make a nice blue, sort of like that. Maybe one more. I don't know what other colour flowers can get really. Petal 4. Let's just go for a sort of a pink colour, because there are some pink flowers. Okay, so I've got a group of flowers. If we just group these up like that, if we press T, we can then name the group flowers like that. Okay, so if we just drag these down, and then shift and left click on the first layer, yeah, that's looking good. If we now go to the particle systems, add another particle system, call this flowers, set this to hair, under emission, oh yeah, tick advanced, then under emission tick random, maybe have 3,000 of these flowers, because they tend to be quite hidden. Under render, we're going to go to group, and then choose flowers. And now you can see we've got a whole lot of these nasty looking things. Okay, so if we tick rotation, they'll then change their rotation a bit. And then under, hang on, yeah, if we select these little flower objects, and then when we rotate these, they'll then actually rotate on the plane. So it seems on the y-axis is when they just 90 degrees like that. There we go. Okay, so if we now change this to normal in the rotation thing, we can then change the fade. In fact, I'm just going to decrease the size because this is annoying me. 0.005. Maybe that's a bit. No, that's an alright size. Maybe tiny bit higher. Maybe to 7 there. There we go. Yeah, so we can just play around with the rotation here. There we go. That's looking nice. So now I'm going to pause this and render it and see what happens. Okay, so what I've got here is the grass. The flowers are a bit too small, and we've got these nasty shadows appearing, and I'm just gonna want to fix those as well. And I think we also need more of this long grass as well. So if I come out of that, let's just get the flowers. Where is it? The size. Maybe just have that about 0.15. That's too big. Just maybe 0.1. Whoops, no, 0.01. Okay, yeah, that's alright. And with the long grass, I'm going to increase that to about 2,000. Like that. And also if I just display these, just see everything. Whoops. Alright. So I want the flowers to be just a bit bigger than the grass, just so we can see them all. Hang on, there we go. Right, so yeah, if I just increase the flower size a bit more. In fact, no, let's just increase the normal amount. Okay. Let's set that to about 1.12. Alright, there we go. So now when we render this, it should look a lot better. Sorry about that, I forgot to change the shadow thing. Okay, so the way we make the shadows a bit softer is by getting the sun lamp and then changing the samples up to 2 and then the soft size to 1.1, somewhere around there, maybe even 1.2. And also if I just get the sun and turn, sorry, not the sun, the sky, and turn off the shadows, that will look good. So yeah, right then, now I think that will do. Okay, so yeah, let's try rendering this again. Okay, so the flowers are now a bit too big, and I think there's a bit too much of them as well. So I'm going to go to the particle system, back to the flowers. I'm going to decrease this, maybe even half it to 1500. Okay, and let's also just bring the velocity back down to 1.08, and then that should just shrink them a bit more. Let's keep them around the same size as the grass now. I think that would be a bit more sensible. Also, there's too many of these blue and pink ones for my liking. So if I go to the render, then click on use count, I can then change these. I want to name my flowers though. What I want to do is get the white and yellow ones named, because the rest are just rubbish. So white flower, yellow flower, there we go. And I'm basically going to get the white and yellow flowers, get that to about 5 on the yellow flower, and then 5 on the white flower. So now to every 7 flowers, 12 flowers, 5 of them will be yellow, 5 of them will be white, and then 2 of them will be, or 1 of them will be blue, and 1 of them will be the pink one. So that just, I might even actually increase this to about 10 and 10, because, you know, I really don't want to have some big colourful field. I mean, I didn't even bother with the pink one in my last scene that I did, the example scene. So yeah, okay, so now let's try rendering that. Okay, so it's looking better, but one thing that I forgot to do was use this random size feature. So with the flowers, if I were to set this to about 0.5, by the way, this is a relative value to the size thing, so that doesn't mean it will increase or decrease this size by 0.5. 0.5 basically means half, so it will get half of this, and the maximum it can add or take away is half of this. So yeah, I'm going to do that with the flowers. With the long grass, I'm going to change the physics of that, the random size, to about 0.7 maybe, and then with the grass, I'm going to set that all the way up to 1 to get, you know, different lengths of grass entirely. Also, and in the in the render, I'm also going to increase this random to 1 as well, and that'll just make things look a bit more random. And so now I'm going to render this again, and hopefully it will look a lot better. Okay, so now it is looking a lot better. There's only one thing I now want to change, and that is the colour of the long grass. It sort of stands out a bit too much for my liking. I mean, you might like it like that, but I certainly don't. I'm just going to basically desaturate it a bit. I also might just slide it more into the yellow, like that. So yeah, just to make it look a little bit more bland and boring, I'm just going to slide up this sort of yeah, in fact I'm actually going to saturate this colour a bit more. There we go. So, you know, it looks just a bit less, it doesn't stand out as much basically. And one thing before I do my final render is I'm going to add a defocus. Oh, sorry, I'm going to add a depth of field. Well, I'm going to add a focal point basically, so I'm just going to increase the distance. If I display my limits, I can see where that distance is. I'm basically going to point it directly at the ground in front of the camera. And so I'm not going to render this again. I'm going to render it again for part 3, which is going to be compositing. So thanks for watching this part. Hope to see you again in the next part, which of course is compositing. If you like this video, please press the like button and add it to your favorites. It really helps bring you know, more viewers to this video, and it's greatly appreciated. So yeah, also subscribe, follow me on Twitter if you want to, although I don't really tweet any interesting things. So yeah, that's about it really. Check out my channel for other tutorials, So thanks for watching, and goodbye.